Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the 24 makeup products that I want to pan in 2024. I do a video kind of like this every single year, and this is not a project pan within itself, but these are going to remain in a bin, and then as I go through the year with my rolling style project pans, theoretically, I'm supposed to be pulling products from this bin. These are the makeup products that I would love to either hit pan on or finish completely this year. And this year I am going easier on myself with one kind of big exception, which we will get into. There are a lot of things in here that are mostly finished or halfway finished, and I did that on purpose because I have had some really hard years in general, like life-wise, which is obviously reflected in my panning. And every year I come back and it feels a little disappointing to give you a recap and talk about how unsuccessful I was. So I'm trying my hardest to set myself up for success this year and have a really great panning year as well as a great year in general. I'm going to go mostly in the order in which I would do my makeup, except that I'm going to start with setting spray. This is the Ofra Makeup Fixer setting spray. This is currently in my rolling Project 10 pan. I have kept that rolling through the end of the year and into the new year. I didn't do a finale and restarting it. I have about 2/3 of this setting spray left. It's my oldest setting spray in my collection and the one I use every time I do my makeup. I chose two primers to work on. The first is my oldest primer in my collection, and this is the NYX Angel Veil. I have used this for the last week just to kind of see, do I even like this anymore? Is it worth trying to pan, or should I just declutter it because it is so old? And I've actually been really enjoying this. This is similar to the Hourglass Veil primer. It's a bit smoothing, a bit mattifying, but it doesn't really do the best job at either of those things. So I like it fine enough to finish it, but it definitely won't be a repurchase. So it's good to move through those products too. And then the other primer I have is the First Aid Beauty Pores Be Gone. I worked on this in a project pan quite a while ago, and there's less than half of this left. I have used it since marking it in that project obviously as well. So this is one of those gimme products. It's one of the primers that has the least amount of product in it. As a full size, I have mini primers, but I wanted to work through some full-size primers, and this one doesn't have a lot left. Now this is one of those primers that I really love, and I probably won't repurchase it right away, but it is a primer I would like to have in my collection. So this might not necessarily like reduce my inventory overall. Does that make any sense? I went with a similar theme for my foundations. First, I have my Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. I've been working away at this year after year, and this foundation is so huge, and it's never been like my sole focus, which is obviously why it's not finished, but it is my oldest foundation, the Too Faced Peach Perfect. I don't think I said that. This is the year I need this to actually be gone. This is the year I need to truly focus on this. This is getting very old in my collection, and it's time for it to go, but it's 1.6 fluid ounces, which is a lot. And then a foundation that is a favorite and has gotten a lot of use from me over the years, the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I didn't love this last 2 times I used it, so it might have expired. I'm gonna experiment with it a bit more. I cannot see where I am on the bottle. There's no windowing, but I have used this a ton. It's definitely not full by any means. Oh, there is a little bit of windowing happening in the back here, but there has to be more missing than just that little bit at the top. I feel like I can see through the entire thing. That can't be right either. I will figure out how to mark this if and when I actually put this in a project pan. Like many others, I'm choosing to put the Kosas Revealer Concealer in this list of products. This is my favorite concealer in my collection, and I know that it expires very quickly. It's nowhere near my oldest concealer, but I definitely don't want to just allow it to expire. I am between the A and the S with just general, using it here and there whenever I feel like reaching for my favorite concealer and not a concealer I'm panning. So I definitely want to use this up this year, even if that means I'm repurchasing it, because I would hate for this to expire and I have to throw it away. I chose two powders to work on, a pressed powder and a loose powder. The pressed powder I'm reaching for is my Rimmel Stay Matte. I have a ginormous pan on this. It's getting very old. I think I shouldn't have any trouble finishing this off this year. And then a loose powder I've worked on in the past, and I feel like there's not that much left, is the Becca Hydra Mist Set and Refresh. This no longer has that wet feel to it, so it's definitely old, but there is less than half the container. Those are old markings from when I worked on it in the past, so it's even lower than that. Again, I really don't foresee any trouble in finishing off this powder over the course of this year. I feel like so far all the goals and products I've shared with you have been very reasonable. Now we're getting into like crazy town, okay, for cheek products. First, I'm putting this back in. This was in my 23 to use up in 2023 and I didn't do that. This is the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Palette. This is getting too old. I would love to have at least one pan showing in this by the end of the year. I don't think I'll ever be able to completely finish this product, but a pan showing by the end of the year. If I can work this into a project pan, that would be great. I want some use out of the contour and the bronzer shade, and I need to determine if the highlighter is worth using. I mentioned in my 2023 how did I do video that if I still really hate this, I'm going to scratch it out and reduce my inventory. It's so silly to keep this as an option for projects like whole collection project pan. If it's something I truly hate, and this product is so old, I would never re-gift it to someone who may want that product, you know what I mean? So this needs some love from me this year. And then we have 3 bronzers on top of that. I know, but bear with me. 2 of them I do want to completely finish that were in my 23 and 2023 and got a ton of use from me last year. So again, I'm really setting myself up this year for some empties, which is amazing. The Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer Mini. This has a very large pan and is very thin in there. I don't foresee any trouble in actually using this up. Same with my NARS Laguna. This was also a mini bronzer originally. I repressed it into this compact and mixed in bronzer from another product, but again, it's very thin in there. I'm starting the year off with a really huge pan. I would love to have 2 powder bronzer empties. They are minis. They're not going to count for that much money-wise, but it will reduce my inventory, and I just can't wait for that satisfaction. I don't think I've ever finished a cheek product at all. And then I also want to hit pan on my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Again, I worked on this a bit last year. There is a dip forming. I've used this product like 60 times or so, and I would like to see a pan showing in this by the end of the year. So despite, I guess, if we're excluding the contour palette, which I guess technically had a bronzer and a contour, but 3 bronzers being in my year-long list, but 2 of these are so close to being done, and I'm only expecting pan in this one, so I feel like I can do it. But then I also decided to put in 3 blushes. This, I don't fully expect for me to hit these goals, but I want to challenge myself a little bit as well. So my Seraphine Botanicals Happy Hibiscus blush I am working on in my Rolling Project 10 pan. It is so teeny, and I would love to have a pan showing in this by the end of the year. I figured I should be working on my cream blushes. So one of my older cream blushes, this is the Ilia Multi-Stick in the shade Dreamer. It's a very neutral blush shade. I'm trying to roll it up. This is a full size, I believe, and this is how much I have left. Not a ton, but enough that it's actually going to take focus and dedication to get through it. And Ilia is a clean beauty brand at Sephora, so I expect that this will expire sooner than some of my other cream blushes, and it's on the older side. So this is the one that I chose. Also, it being a very neutral color, I feel like I can work on it all year long. And this year I really want some pans showing in my face palettes. I've already shared with you my Too Faced Cocoa Contour. That's my oldest face palette in my collection. It might be the oldest palette type product I have at all, including eyeshadows, but I chose some other ones I would like to hit a pan in, just one pan. The first is this BH Cosmetics Nude Blush 10 color blush palette. I have worked on this here and there in project pans. This shade over here was in the whole collection project pan for a while. I used it about 20 times, and if I hold it up a certain way, I can see the rings to the pan. So that leads me to believe that these pans are not actually that deep. Now they're still, these four are more blush shades. These are like bronzy blush colors for me. I don't really know the best way to get use out of these shades over here. I tend to use them as mixing shades, but I would like to focus on this a bit this year. Again, roll it into a project if it so calls for it, and try and hit pan in one of the shades. I would feel really satisfied in that. I actually really like this for it being, oh, I'm pinching my finger, for it being such an affordable product from BH Cosmetics. And then I also have the Smashbox Highlighter Trio. This is in collaboration with Casey Holmes, and I feel like I haven't used this enough. I would like a pan showing in here as well. I really like all three of the shades. We have a more natural highlight, a bit more of a amped up highlighter, and then this last one has more of that like glittery finish, not super glittery, but it's less of a smooth highlight than these two, and like that was done on purpose. So I definitely foresee myself hitting pan probably in this lightest shade, but we shall see. Again, I would love to have some pans showing in some face palettes this year. And then I have one more highlighter. I have my Ofra Rodeo Drive. This is again very old. It's the old packaging. I now have highlighters in their newer white square packaging. So I have heard that these are not the hardest to hit pan on, especially if you are going for the center. And this is a very beautiful highlight that I have not prioritized. I haven't reached for it all that much, and I would like to change that. So this is the highlighter that I would like to hit pan on this year. I'm going to share two eye products, and then the rest are lip products. I of course have my Super Shock Shadow in the shade Kathleen Lights. You guys know I saved this from my top 10 oldest cream and liquid products with the goal to finish this year. I'm definitely going to try really hard. This needs to find its way into a project ASAP. And then spoiler alert for my next edition of the 10 oldest cream and liquid products, there is the Smashbox Always Sharp eyeliner in that list. I have no way of knowing how much product is left in here, but I know that it doesn't smell bad, it still scrolls up, it still works, and because it has a sharpener in the top, I don't know, I feel confident trying to use this up this year. It's a gorgeous coppery shade. I think it will go really well with looks with that Super Shock Shadow, as well as any neutral looks I'm doing. So I would like to use up this Smashbox eyeliner. And then to round out my 24 products, I have 5 lip products, and again, I'm mostly trying to go easy on myself. So again, the lip liner I saved from my top 10 oldest cream and liquid products. I've been working on this for over a year. This is the Lord & Berry Nude Lip Liner, and it's getting very tiny. I would love the satisfaction of actually finishing this product. Another item I've been working on quite a bit last year is the Ofra Lip Gloss in the shade Queen. This is over halfway gone with minimal effort, to be honest. So I think if this finds its way into a project and I actually focus on it and give it the attention it deserves, it shouldn't be that hard to finish. I have my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Lipstick Mini. I have the Park Avenue Princess Bronzer Mini as well. There is hardly any lipstick in here. I did focus on this a little bit last year and didn't see any movement, but it's a very easy, everyday nude shade, and I think I could use this a lot, and I would love to reduce my lipstick inventory with an actual empty. Though this is a mini, it still counts as just as much as a full size, and this is getting quite old as well. I would like to knock this out. And then two slightly more challenging products. I have my oldest lip gloss. This is the Bare Minerals Marvelous Moxie Gloss in the shade Trailblazer. It is a peachy orange shimmery shade. Formula is still fine. I definitely checked it out, even though it is getting so old. I would like to finish this lip gloss off. There's not really any progress showing on it right now. And then lastly, one of the hardest products is I would like to finish off a liquid lipstick, and this is the oldest one I have that is still good. This is the Maybelline Vivid Matte Liquid in the shade 10 Nude Flush. It's a gorgeous nude pink shade. I think that this would be really hard to finish off. I have only finished off mini liquid lipsticks, but I'm wearing a liquid lipstick today. I've been reaching for liquid lipstick a ton over the last few months, to be honest. And I'm falling back in love with liquid lipsticks. I don't know why that is, but I am, but I still think it's going to be incredibly challenging to actually finish off a full size. This has 7.7 milliliters of product in it, or 0.26 fluid ounces. That's a lot of liquid lipstick. So those are the 24 makeup products I would like to either use up completely or hit pan on in the year of 2024. Again, I will be trying to keep these products front of mind as I go through my project pans this year. Have you collected a basket of products that you want to focus on this year? Let me know what's in that. What do you think of the products that I chose for myself? I feel like I went easy on myself with some aspects, products that are almost gone, and then definitely threw in some more challenging things. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!